What's up, guys? Stephen Bogrand here, Pro Physique. Today, I want to ask you a question, and that is, what are you settling for? Now, hey guys, I know this is a little bit different kind of thing than what you're used to, but I like to hopefully try and do that on a regular basis. So, what are you settling for? And I think that this question is something that we like to really ask ourselves a lot in life, right? Like we ask ourselves in life, am I settling for the person that I'm with? Am I settling with the way that I allow people to treat me? Am I settling for my job? Am I settling on this? Am I settling on that, right? And so, I think that the norm is to kind of sometimes be okay with that, right? Because you cannot always strive for the absolute best with everything you do. You're just gonna get burnt out if you do that. And so there has to be sort of a middle ground, this medium of where we settle. Like some things are just good enough because they're not that important to us. And so I think the first thing we have to look at when we're talking about if we're settling for something that is less than perfect or that is less than what we want is how important is that thing to us, right? So for everybody, the fitness thing, the lifting, the running, the body composition, for some people, it is not the most important thing in their world. And so they're gonna be happy. And so what might be settling for one may not necessarily be settling for them, right? So priorities and importance dictate whether or not something is even going to be settling for you. So maybe 12% body fat for you is, great, and that's exactly where you want to be. And that's not settling because that's perfect. That's your dream, right? That's the importance of that to you. It's no longer worth it anymore if you have to put more time and effort in it to go any further. Or maybe that's just where you want to be. And that's okay. But for those that are trying to take that further, at that point we have to sort of look at that and say, am I settling, right? So I think for me, this has a lot to do with my training and then what I do outside of my training, right? Because for me, I like being active, right? I like having fun and going outdoors and riding a bike and playing football, hockey, all those sorts of things. It's like kayaking, being on the beach. Like these are things that I enjoy doing. And so for my general lifestyle, I would be very unhappy if I weren't able to do those things on a regular basis. However, those of you who know me know that I just started prep recently and that I have the goal to bring in the best and a very elite level of conditioning to the stage this year. And so that's why I'm doing a 5.5, 6 month prep going into my show, because I don't want to settle for anything less than that. But what does me choosing not to settle actually mean about my lifestyle, right? Well, it definitely means that all the excessive activities, any extra cardio, all that stuff needs to not be something that I'm doing right now, because I want to set myself up to have those tools in the toolbox for long term and down the road. What else does settling mean? Well, settling would mean not really knocking it out of the park, right? So settling would be 15 grams, within 15 grams of my macro goals for the day, or settling would be doing all but 1 or 2 sets of my exercises, right? That's settling because I'm not putting in the work that's required. I'm not actually going the distance, right? Because when we talk about settling in relationships, we talk about people that they've settled down, right? Like they're no longer putting forth that effort. They're no longer, working on a regular basis to make that something spectacular and something amazing each and every day. And so I think that applies to everything that we do. So it's not just a relational thing, right? It's not just, hey, with my spouse or my significant other or my partner, whatever it might be. It's with everything that we do. So with school, am I putting in the time to study? Am I making sure that I'm in class? Am I doing all the things that it's going to take, making sure I get enough sleep and I structure my life in a way to allow me to be productive, right? Or am I settling for B's and C's? That's important, right? Am I training? Am I really putting the training block out and looking at it from long term? Am I reps and sets? Am I making sure that if I'm physically unable to do so, that I'm talking to coach about it, and that I'm informing them about what's going on with me physiologically, and then some of the other things, right? And with training, because training is not just one-dimensional, it's not just going in and lifting the weights, right? Fatigue is this all-encompassing thing of life. So again, relationships always going to be there, stress always going to be there, school always going to be there, sleep always going to be there. All those things are going to affect your training and your fat loss and dieting goals as well. So when it comes to really being stellar, to going all in, and to not settling for a lesser goal or a lesser package or a lesser prize, we have to manage all those things. And so I think so often we like to look at training and diet as just a physiological thing, right? Like it's what we eat and it's how we lift. And so you always hear the kind of bullshit notion, 80% diet, 20% exercise. It's like, no, incorrect. So diet and exercise are both equally as important. Your diet can be as great as you want it to be. If your exercise isn't right, you're not gonna make progress in the gym, right? Your exercise can be over the top, it can be crazy, and if you don't have the right diet, you're not gonna have the nutritional value to be able to come back and recover from training sessions, right? But on top of that, right, if you don't sleep well, you don't recover properly. If you're always stressed out and there's always stress response and inflammation and all this stuff going on in your body, again, you don't recover right. And so we have to look at it from how important it to us is this, right? How much do we want to make this a priority so that we don't have to settle for a lesser outcome? And that's what I really wanted for you guys to think about today, is that how important is it? Because setting realistic goals, understanding, what's real, what's a good idea for you, for your lifestyle and where you're at, that is very, very important. Everything is based on that goal, right? That's how we set everything up. So it's important for you to realize, like, what is a realistic expectation for you in your lifestyle, for the things that you can't give up. If you work 60 hours a week, it's gonna be hard, right? Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, because I've seen people do it. But for you, it might not be a realistic goal. And so that's something that we want to be honest not only with ourselves about, but with our coaches about, and those around us that are going to try and help us get to those goals. Because at the end of the day, we want to set ourselves up to be successful, right? I don't ever want to see somebody come in and know 100% that their timeline or whatever it might be is off, and then tell them, hey, yeah, we can do this. Because I've just set them up for failure, right? I want people to be successful. I want people to have wins. I want people to be able to, I want their lives to be made better from the things that we do. And I think that's how fitness should be for everybody. It should be something that enhances and improves your life. And so that's really a big deal. But guys, it is so important to understand where your priorities lie. And it is so important to understand what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and to set those things out beforehand. So that is what I wanted to encourage you to do today, is to really sit down, be objective, or at least as objective as you possibly can be with yourselves. Set out realistic goals. Understand where your priorities lie so that you don't have to settle. So understand that, hey, it's definitely going to be hard work. Hey, it's definitely not going to be easy. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. But when the goal is worth it, the sacrifices aren't going to be a huge issue. Remember, we sacrifice something for whatever we want. There's always some sort of sacrifice involved, whether it's time, money, emotion. You have to give up something to get something. That's just how the world works. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to really sort of look at yourselves and understand what's going on in here, and in your life, so that you can be successful with getting those goals, with really pursuing and achieving, not just being stuck on the pursuit, but getting that achievement as well. But that's all I have for today, guys. Hopefully you have a great one. Enjoy your week, And until next time, guys.